6 weeks, the U.S. death toll from coronavirus went from 0 to more than 10,000. That grim milestone was reached Monday, shortly after officials warned this will be the toughest week yet in the pandemic. Michigan hospitals are 3 to 6 days away from running out of critical supplies, the governor said. Mortuaries in New Orleans are already out of space, and the mayor said she needs help getting more refrigeration. And New York, New Jersey and Detroit will see peaks in hospitalizations and deaths this week, a U.S. Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary said. Other U.S. cities will experience their own peaks in the coming weeks, Dr. Brett Giroir told NBC's Today Show. He said the peaks reflect infections that occurred 2 or 3 weeks ago. We may be seeing the worst upon us right now in terms of outcomes, Giroir said. Nationwide, the virus has infected more than 366,000 people and killed more than 10,800. But there could be many more deaths from coronavirus than we realize, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said. Some may be misclassified as pneumonia deaths in the absence of positive test results, the CDC said. We really are just seeing the tip of the iceberg, and a lot of it has to do with the tests we have available, said Dr. Panagis Galiazatos, a critical care physician at Johns Hopkins Medicine in Baltimore. Yet there are also signs of progress. More Americans are finding creative ways to help. And in the U.S. epicenter of coronavirus, New York City, the worst of the pandemic might be over soon. Meantime, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, sick with COVID-19 and suffering from a persistent cough and fever, was moved to intensive care after his condition worsened on Monday afternoon. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday sent his best wishes to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, saying Americans were praying for him after he was admitted to intensive care with worsening COVID-19 symptoms. I also want to send best wishes to a very good friend of mine and a friend to our nation, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Mr. Trump said at a press conference. We're very saddened to hear he was taken into intensive care this afternoon, a little while ago. Americans are all praying for his recovery. Mr. Trump said that Washington had offered to provide medical assistance if needed. The European Union's top officials all sent public messages wishing Johnson a full recovery. My thoughts are with Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his family this evening, European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen tweeted. European Council President Charles Michel expressed a similar sentiment, tweeting, "Get well soon, Boris." The EU's Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier, who is recovering in quarantine after also testing positive, tweeted that my thoughts are with you and your family. The best wishes from the European Union's top officials underline the setting aside of political tussling after Johnson took Britain out of the bloc in January. French President Emmanuel Macron gave his full support to Boris Johnson, his family and the British people at this difficult time. I hope he will rapidly overcome this ordeal, he tweeted. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian had earlier told BFM TV, "I know his strength, I am convinced he will draw from his resources, which are great, the capacity to overcome this ordeal. It's also symbolic of the seriousness of this crisis, which affects everyone." Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez tweeted, "My solidarity and wishes for a speedy recovery for Prime Minister Boris Johnson. These are difficult days for our countries, but it is through strength and unity that we can win this battle." Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio tweeted in English that the Italian people is with the UK in these difficult times. "We are one for each other. Get well soon, Boris Johnson." World Health Organization, WHO, Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said he was thinking of my friend Boris Johnson tonight, and sending my and WHO's heartfelt good wishes as he battles the coronavirus. "I know the NHS and its dedicated health workers will be looking after you," he tweeted. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte said that on behalf of the Dutch cabinet, "I wish Boris Johnson, his family and the British people lots of strength during this difficult time. I hope to be able to speak to him soon in good health," Mr. Rutte tweeted. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said his thoughts are with his friend. "Lots of strength, Boris, and get well soon," he tweeted. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić wished his dear friend a fast recovery. "Hang in there and keep fighting. We, your friends, are with you," he wrote on Instagram. Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama tweeted, "I wish you will soon win this fight and be back to lead with all your passion and strength for your marvelous country. We are all in this together and together we will prevail by no doubt."